everyone, my name is Lena KrupinA, and in Pesaro, a big tournament has finally started, in which almost all the top gymnasts are present, with the exception of Ukrainian and Israel. Well, that is not counting those who cannot compete in tournaments now. Anyway, there are enough top gymnasts so that the tournament turns out to be very interesting. But how did the first day go? Who is in the lead? And who has a chance to grab onto the medals? I will tell in this video. And we will also talk about group exercises, how things are going there, what is interesting, and in what form the Ukrainian team is. Well, before starting the video, do not forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, so you don't miss any new videos. Well, YouTube in Russia is still not monetized, so if you have the opportunity, you can support me using the links in the description. In advance, thank you very much. On June 3rd, the first day of the World Cup stage in Pesaro, the last stage, took place. According to the results of the second day, in addition to the all-around medals, the gymnast will also compete for the World Cup. By tradition, on the first day of such tournaments, gymnasts perform with a hoop and a ball. And I must say a big thank you to the Federation of Italy that the tournament is broadcast, despite that you have to use a VPN. In general, this year we are rarely treated with good broadcasts without a geo-block, so you'll already begin to thank for the one camera with a geo-block. As they say, a person gets used to everything. But to be honest, I wanted something much better from such a large tournament. I don't know what the problem is in finances in the International Gymnastics Federation, but I obviously don't like this policy. After the first day, Italian gymnast Sofia Raffaelli is in the lead. I think there was not a doubt here. The gap between Sofia is quite large, so the likelihood that someone will catch up with her is very small. And if you remember the last tournament where Baryana competed, she didn't have such a big lead over her rivals. Does this mean that Sofia has no competitors on the world stage now? Maybe. After all, if we take into account that Sofia performed both her routines far from perfect. So in the hoop, there were inaccurate catches for which she was reduced for the execution, and a loss was made in the ball. There was also an unsuccessful catch with a run, after which Sofia seemed to start fuzzing and dirtily performing the elements. In general, the performances were not bad, but obviously not the level of Sofia. But perhaps it is worth not forgetting that the tournament is held in Italy, and here, as at a home tournament for Italians, they are generous with their scores. But it is not an exception that Sofia now has become a kind of replacement for Russia. Sofia will always take gold and others will compete for silver and bronze. I think the presence of Belarusians and Russians with such a competitor would make the tournament really intriguing. The second place after the first day is occupied by Melania and she no longer is so confident in her positions. The gap from her closest rival is very small. Well, there were inaccuracies in the ball performance and in the hoop. The ball also had a bad element. The third place is taken by Margarita Kolosov, a German gymnast. In general, for Margarita, the first day goes more successful and she often ends up in the top 3. But by the end of the second day, she usually goes down. Let's see how things will be this time. But the first day, Margarita passed her programs with no visible errors. Tekmina Inkromova, a gymnast from Uzbekistan, takes 4th place. She coped well with her programs except for the moment in the ball where she caught the apparatus with her foot out of the carpet. But in general, the penalty here was relatively small and I think she will be able to recover for the second 2 events. The 5th place after the first day was the gymnast of Kazakhstan, Ilzana Taneva. She also coped well with her programs without visible losses and mistakes. Litra Panagiota, the Greek gymnast, occupies the 6th line. The leotard in ball seems interesting, but from such a broadcast, of course, it was impossible to see it closer. And Litra did not qualify for the ball final, so apparently another time. In execution, both routines of Litra went well. Tilyana Nikolova is a Bulgarian gymnast, about whom I thought that she would be the main rival for Sofia Raffaelli. But however, according to the results of the first day, Tilyana only takes 7th place. There were quite a few inaccuracies in both events, despite the fact that there was no big losses. I think that this is clearly not her level of performance. Let's hope she does much better on the second day. 8th place is occupied by Kita Sumire. The gymnast of Japan went well with her programs. I especially like the ball. It seems somehow interesting. Although I especially like the hoop for the leotard but again, with such a broadcast, you can't really see it, and it works more on memories from other tournaments. The 9th place after the first day is occupied by the Spanish gymnast Polina Berezina. There was a loss in the hoop, and judging by the news that I monitor, Polina has very beautiful leotards. Again, I want to take a closer look at them. And the top 10 is closed by Ekaterina Vidineva, a gymnast from Slovenia. Katya made a loss in the hoop, and there were other inaccuracies. The gap as a whole is not so big, and knowing that Katya has a good ribbon, then if everything works out, she will obviously rise higher in standings. Well, at this tournament, after a long break, we finally saw the gymnasts of Ukraine. So Viktor Onoprienko and Melania performed in the cup. Vika takes 14th place after the first day. Knowing the Ukrainian team, they usually always take a long time to get in shape and show good results only towards the end of the season. But knowing what atmosphere is like in the country now, it is not surprising that the results are not mega high yet, although it seems not bad to me, considering that Vika made mistakes, so there was a loss in the hoop as well as a loss in the ball during a risk. Well, I also really like the moment in the dance steps in the ball. It looks really cool. Melania after the first day takes 19th line. I also think it's not a bad result for a start. And in general, it's probably hard for us to evaluate the girls, although they are already performing well. I'm sure that they will catch up at the European Championship. In group exercises, the Italian team is leading after the first day. They did a very good job with their program and were satisfied themselves, and the score came out appropriate. If there are no big losses on the second day, then I think no one will be able to catch up with them. The second place after the first day is occupied by the national team of Bulgaria. The girls made a loss, and there were many inaccuracies. Hence, it is not surprising that they are not first. But I like the Bulgarian exercise more. It's kind of musical, interesting, and modern. For Italy, I like ribbons and balls more. The third place after the first day is occupied by the French team. The girls went through their program very well, which is why such a good result. Although the gaps are very small from their closest rival, so after the second event, a lot of things will probably change. Finally, we saw the Chinese team, and I'm honestly delighted with them. Very beautiful and unusual leotards. An interesting beginning. Incredible national dance steps, and stylish, risky ending in the style of China. As I understand it, Nastya Bliznuk is not training with them yet, since she was not in Kiss and Cry, and someone said that she was in Russia. So it's possible that she either works remotely or has not come to China yet. But in any case, the Team China is now a team that is directly interesting to watch. The national team of Japan, which always attracts, this time allowed a lot of losses, so they didn't get close to the podium yet, and they are only in 9th. In general, it seems to me that with the departure of Irina Bystrova, the Japanese girls can't show the same high results as with the Russian coach. In the group exercise, the Ukrainian team takes 12th place after the first day. Losses were made, including one out of the carpet, and the team is still young and not well functioning. So for now, it's possible to evaluate the costumes and new girls in the team. Irina Ivanovna, in a recent interview, said that almost all the gymnasts from the group did not return to training due to the ban of their parent, and they had to recruit a new team. So given such a difficult situation, we support the girls and wish them the best of luck and to get in shape as soon as possible. Well, after the second day, we will find out who will take the World Cup medals and also who will become the owner of the World Cup series. I'm sure that Sofia will be the winner, but how the places will be distributed further is a big question. Write in the comments who you think will be on the podium after the all-around and who you remember the most after the first day. Well, that's all for today. Remember that I love you all very much, and bye bye.